Mr. Farage has a new initiative. We wait to see what it's going to be. His so-called Alarm Clock Britain relaunch is a curious act of political recycling. Beneath the loud rhetoric and about responsibility and realism, it's neither new nor authentically Faragian. It is in effect a patchwork of borrowed slogans, reheated satirical cliches, and digitally polished MAGA populism masquerading as policy. The phrase Alarm Clock Britain is rather clever, which Farage will deploy to suggest sympathy with hard-working families, was in fact coined by Nick Clegg in 2011 when the Lib Dems were attempting to reclaim middle-income voters during the coalition years. Clegg's usage was mocked at the time as tin-eared, synthetic and patronising. Farage's adoption of it suggests not innovation but an ideological rummage through Britain's political jumble sale of slogans. He has stolen an idea that once failed and is trying to present it as insurgent common sense. Well, then there's the tone, the careful imitation of Donald Trump's America First pitch, adapted for British ears. Farage now speaks of a bloated state, career politicians, real people who know business. This is straight from the MAGA playbook, which recasts the populist millionaire as the tribune of the working man. The insistence that government should run, or should be run, like a business echoes Trump's promises to run America as though it were one of his golf resorts, with similar attention to fantasy budgeting and a hole-in-one. What is striking is now every new Farage idea turns out to be an old one with the varnish rubbed off. The promise of deregulation to unleash British enterprise was Thatcher's theme in 1979, recycled by Johnson in 2019, now reheated yet again. His claim that Brexit's opportunities remain untapped is the last surviving relic of 2016 optimism, dusted down to distract from the fact that deregulation, when tried, rarely produces national renewal, but usually corporate license. His repudiation of his own £90 billion tax cut pledge is at least a rare nod to reality, though even this climb down is wrapped in performance. Farage has now decided that taxes can only be cut once the deficit is under control. In other words, never. It's the same austerity logic that David Cameron used to justify shrinking the state while promising future reward. Reform UK's supposed radicalism collapses here into the most orthodox Treasury conservatism. The language of freeing business to get on and make more money belongs not to reform but to regression. It is precisely the economic thinking that created Britain's regional inequality, housing crisis, and dependency on low-wage service jobs. Farage's talk of bringing expertise into government is a swipe at politicians who are not entrepreneurs, a populist sneer disguised as policy. Yet, when pressed for detail, reform's experts are unnamed and their costings imaginary. In short, this initiative is less a manifesto than a collage. Nick Clegg's slogans, Margaret Thatcher's deregulation, Liz Truss's fantasy growth, and Donald Trump's performative rage, all algorithmically tweaked for virality. That's being viral rather than being manly. Farage's speeches have become what AI does with old data, recombining fragments of the past to produce the illusion of a modern novelty. Reform UK presents itself as Britain's future, but the sound that it makes is the echo of exhausted ideology. Farage is not unveiling a new vision, he is serving up political leftovers and calling them breakfast.